Motion carries. On to new business.
I'll give some introductory.
School improvement plans from the Rolla Middle School, Wyman Elementary, Truman Elementary, and Mark Twain Elementary School. Dr. Zales.
Just to set the stage for the presentations tonight, we go through this over the course of the next two meetings. We have a comprehensive school improvement plan, which is our roadmap for the district improvement over the course of time, and that comprehensive school improvement plan was a culmination of a lot of people in our community that came together and helped us describe what they wanted to see in the schools. And that comprehensive plan has been out on our website, and it actually is impetus for all of the things we've done from early childhood to building projects, et cetera. Related to that are the school improvement plans. Each building principal with their leadership team, I think you'll hear some acronyms tonight that you're familiar with, but just those people that might be watching for the first time. Each building has a leadership team, and that leadership team looks at the comprehensive school improvement plan, looks at data from the spring assessments, and also looks at items that make our school great, which are all other things that we want to do to engage families, to technology, other professional development activities. So the expenditures then that the district approves for professional development activities are directly related to each individual school improvement plan, which supports the comprehensive school improvement plan. So the order by which these folks are going tonight has just been random. We try to move them around a little bit, and we always kid with the building principals that the first one sets the bar high. So we'll have that expectation formally stated. And as you well know too, each building principal, as part of their evaluation, the comprehensive school improvement plan and their SIP plan is part of their evaluation too. So there's some accountability for achieving the goals. So very pleased to have them here tonight. They've engaged, we've got some parents and PTO people here to help, particularly at the elementaries where there aren't assistant principals. And then we ask at the middle school, high school, junior high, and RTI, RTC that all the assistants are involved in that process too. So Dr. Davis, we're ready.
You drew the short straw tonight, huh?
Looks like reverse order.
How come you guys aren't a parent-teacher?
Just a little added story. One more thing. Good evening.
Good evening.
Howdy.
It's been a while since I've seen you guys.
Yep.
Actually, 2 weeks. But we're excited because there are a lot of things going on at the middle school this year, and it's going to carry over to next year, but it all starts with our school improvement plan. And if you can look at the screen, we've adopted this motto this year: United We Stand, because of the election. So I'll be honest with you, I can't wait till it's over and we can carry on. So you're familiar with this because from year to year we start off with a placemat and the 5 categories that we kind of highlight through our presentation for our school improvement plan. Each one of those categories is quite entailed, and I'm not going to read that to you. First of all, I can't see it that far away, even though I have very high definition bifocals now. Nobody knows how that goes until it doesn't work. So we're going to kind of address these a little bit step by step, and Mrs. Grisham and Miss Norman are going to help me through this and get involved because they're a huge and vital part of why this works so well. My number one goal has always been community and safety. And so let's go ahead and talk about that. At the middle school, it's extremely important to me that we bridge community involvement and education. And one of the things that we do are several fundraisers that we've done in the past, and we've kind of condensed those down a little bit. The fundraisers that we really focus on right now is the Special Olympics polar plunge, and we've kind of worked this out in twofold. We're going to do the polar plunge, which is in February or March or April. It's when it's cold.
It's got to be
And
cold.
then we're going to do another one
Becomes less
later
cold
on,
as
hopefully with Officer Louth that is going to kind of entail a little bit of a different aspect of that. So we're kind of doing something different right there. We also have something that we've started about 3 years ago. We're on our 3rd year for this, and it's the First Responders Luncheon. And that's when we invite all first responders, and that's including sheriff's departments, paramedics, dispatchers, state troopers, the Rolla Police Department. All of those people are invited, and we do kind of what I consider like a little Thanksgiving Day. And several of you have attended that, and you'll get your invitations again. But it's extremely important that we pay tribute to these people. So our kids get involved. They make the lunch for them. They will perform. The choir will perform on that, and they put on quite the presentation. So that's something, I think we had around 80 total first responders, and we hope to do about 100 this year. So it's a huge event. We also use a lot of resources through MS&T to kind of gather some information. I know that our 7th grade girls take a tour there, but this year we went ahead and we invited the entire 7th grade to take a tour and to actually understand the different levels of engineering, because there are so many aspects of that that we don't really hit. The first thing you think of is a lot of math and science, but it can also go into civil engineering, and it's important for them to know that there's different parts of that. We do mentoring program with prevention consultants. We have invited several of the MS&T mentors that come in after school and work. So we've increased that, I'd say, by at least 10 this year. Law enforcement has also been encouraged to go through our buildings and walk. They do walkthroughs. State Patrol is really big into it this year. We just think that it's important that the community see their cars out front. Again, safety is #1 priority for me. If children are in a safe environment, there's a lot more learning going on. So another company that has really done great things for us is Brewer Science. They have presented, last year I believe they presented on robots, and this year it was more on building furniture and just kind of manufacturing parts of it. So we really, really appreciate everything that Brewer Science has done for us. One of the best day that I can say that we have at the middle school is something that's called Acceptance Awareness Day. This is a time that we bring in a lot of people from the community, but we also use and utilize the kids that we have in our school that have disabilities. And they are set up in each classroom, and then the kids tour, and they get to hear about disabilities such as ADD, or maybe even, I think that the lady right there was showing how blind people, kind of conquer their disabilities. And that has been a wonderful aspect of what we do at middle school. I also get a lot of positive comments from the parents at that point. And I really think that that's one of the reasons that we have less bullying with kids with disabilities, is because we put them in that perspective. The transition updates are our next thing. It's a huge thing this year, as you guys can just imagine. We have updates on our website. 2 weeks ago, I presented here on what we are doing as far as the transition goes. Now we've kind of bulleted that, and I went ahead and put in my video clip. It's just keeping everybody aware. It's, again, reaching out to the community and kind of getting them involved, because we just did a parent survey last night, actually, and we're doing another one tonight, kind of getting feedback on what their concerns are. Because we've gotten it from the teachers. We're going to be asking, because Ms. Haskell right there had sent us some information on how we could address student concerns. So we're going to kind of get our transition team to think about that and maybe offer that in the spring. So I think that's a really good idea with that. But tonight we're going to trying to hit more of the parents' request, and #1 right now is safety. So that is, from last night's total, safety came to #1. So We've also decided that this year we wanted to collaborate a little bit more with the Pathways and, student advocacy centers. So it'd be Pathways, Children's Division, Juvenile Office, and it's called Systems of Care. And what we do is if there is a very high-risk kiddo, we all meet together and discuss the best way to service not only that child, but the family as a whole. So that has been something new for us, and this is the year that we're going to do that. So.
All right, so our second category in our improvement plan is the highly qualified staff. Of course, there couldn't be much learning take place if we didn't have great teachers, and I tell you what, we have a great faculty. I went out today, but it's been really busy with us, so we haven't been out as much as we can, but I love just popping in a classroom and I'd take a picture or two and the kids were just engaged. There'd be Chromebooks on a desk. Go to the next room, they're reading AR, the next room they're doing some STEAM projects and stuff. And so there's lots of things that are going on and largely due to the hard work of our staff. Within our highly qualified staff category, this year when we met with our teachers, the three of us split up our faculty and we meet with them on their professional development plans, and as a part of that, our student growth models with our SGMs were a part of that conversation. Last year was the first year for that, where teachers created or identified an objective that they would do a post-test or pre-test and a post-test to see how much growth happened through their lessons for that. And we had great conversations of how that went. Obviously, the first time through something, you might want to change some things or might want to keep it. There were many of our teachers who said, yeah, we're going to change it for this year because we want to increase the rigor a little bit for our students. And so having those conversations with those teachers about, did it go very well? Why did it not go well? And that was very, very important to have with them. Also, within that, I kind of mentioned the STEAM projects. The last bullet there talks about we have some in-house training going on. Jessica Zink and Caitlin Jones have taken on the task of teaching the Project Lead the Way program to not only our 6th grade teachers, but to some of our elementary teachers as well, so that we can kind of broaden that range of students with that program. And so they've done an excellent job with that, as well as we're incorporating STEAM this year. STEAM stands for, it's kind of a version of STEM, but includes the arts, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And we, as a faculty, decided last year that we would go away from our academic skills class that we have, where they were focusing a lot on basic math facts and spelling and stuff like that, to a more project-based class period where they're looking conceptually at, here's a problem. What can we do to solve this problem, and work as a team, collaborate with students and such. And so the very top picture up there, if you can kind of see it, that was in Mr. McCash's class. They were given pipe cleaners, and this was one that they actually had to do on their own, but there's many group ones that happen. But this is, they had to construct the tallest tower with 10 pipe cleaners. And so they were all different kinds of designs. Before they could build, they had to have a design on paper and figured out why they wanted to use that design and such. So there's really good things happening in those classrooms during that time. Also, within our highly qualified staff, we want to increase our collaboration not only vertically but horizontally as well throughout our grade levels. And with our transition coming up, we've been in touch with our 4th grade teachers quite a bit to not only talk teaming-wise, they did get their team assignments and such, and we've made the changes on vertical teaming whenever we have our professional development days, that they are put within the subject area that they're going to be teaching next year. So if they weren't aligned with that subject, we made that happen within the last month so they can start focusing on the curriculum that they're going to be teaching next year. So for our 4th grade, we're going to kind of model it like our 5th grade teachers are now, so they will either be teaching math and science or English, language arts, and social studies. So that way they can kind of go from those 4 main core preps down to just 2. And so we really wanted them to kind of start focusing in on that curriculum this year. And then our librarian, Mrs. Garner, she is doing some training. some intense training on becoming what they call a technarian, where she's going to be able to have a bank of resources, technology resources for not only teachers but also students as well. So that may be something that kind of changes a little bit whenever we transition next year in her role as well. So our third category is instructional resources. And so how are we going to convey all this information to our kiddos? We're still collaborating intensely with our technology facilitators. At the middle school, we really use Christopher and Jeannie a lot because Brenda is at the upper levels, but they are such a great resource for our teachers to, whether it's something they're trying brand new first thing, for them to just be there in case something happens. I remember as a classroom teacher when I tried something for the first time with technology, it was always nice to have a helper around in case something fell through. And so they are very, very vital within our building. We're also continuing our Fast Forward program for struggling readers, for those that have the central auditory processing disorder. Those students in the morning during our ASI will spend 30 minutes about 3 times a day working through that online program to help them with that disorder. And that's one of our Tier 2 interventions with our PBIS. And then finally, one of our proud things that we have, and our teachers were just elated that this year we are proud to say that each team in all grade levels have a cart that they are accessible to. So it's not that 5th grade has 2 carts for 12 teachers. Now it's 1 cart for 2 teachers in 5th grade. And so they have that ability to be able to use the technology more often in their classroom and be able to, kind of coordinate with their teammates when they can use that. So that's been very, very helpful, I know, on their part, being able to schedule technology events within their classroom. And it's amazing to walk in and the kids just grab their Chromebooks or their iPad, whatever they're doing, and they just log right in. They know to go to Google Classroom. And so lots of good things are happening with that technology. So.
I think I say this every time I'm technologically challenged. I usually make someone else hold this for me. It's too much pressure. So let's see how. All right, student performance is where I'm supposed to be. Gold star right there. For student performance, I'm going to be talking about 2 different areas. First and foremost will be academics, of course. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we reach the entire student, the whole learner. For student performance, we all know that students are more than a test score. And what it takes to get them there, it's a lot more than reading, writing, and arithmetic. And so we have addressed some issues that we have seen, and we've tried to work a little smarter, not harder for our students, have more targeted and focused instruction. And with the use of our SGMs, our assessment tool, we're able to do that by focusing on some high-impact leverage goals that we have for our students, meaningful things that are meaningful that will carry out. We started small, but we're expanding that. I think teachers have seen the value of assessing students' knowledge at the beginning, and then seeing the impact of their instruction at the end to see if that instruction needs to continue or how much instruction that will be required. If you give a test at the beginning and everybody knows it, well, it's time to move on to the next goal and not spend time on that. So also we are emphasizing teacher collaboration, and as we spoke to earlier, 4th grade is being included in that process as we go through our transition. We already consider them a part of our family, and we hope that they feel that way as well. But we want them to hit the ground running in August and know what's going on as far as the expectation of curriculum and the resources they have available to them in our building. Another great thing that we have, and every year it just seems to explode and get larger, we offer, I'm very proud to say, tutoring for students before and after school. You would be hard-pressed not to find an area where a student can receive some sort of one-on-one or small group help before school begins in the morning. So the children are really taking advantage of that in a great way. If they don't need specific tutoring in a certain area, the library is open for them to just read AR, catch up on homework, and actually all the teachers are open to that. So it's really great for the kids. It also helps teachers build those relationships with students who might need just a little bit extra time. And that, of course, we're emphasizing instructional engagement with our students. If they're not paying attention, they're not going to learn. So ways that teachers can engage them. The use of technology has been very impactful in that regard. The kids, they can operate the technology better than we can. We all know that. And once they are given the tools to kind of take that and run with it, it's so awesome to see the great things that they're able to do. I sat in an art class today, and they were doing presentations on Prezi with art projects about something that interested them. And it was so great to see them do that. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the whole learner. You know, if students don't feel safe, accepted, secure, you know, education is going to be a little bit further down on that hierarchy of needs. So we have expanded our small groups and student time with our counselors. We have small divorce groups for students. We have grief group. We have social skills group. You know, I think in the elementary level we used to call it friendship group. We've started a new one for students who unfortunately one of their parents is incarcerated. That's a need. They're, you know, and they are able to find out I'm not the only kid that has this as an issue. I'm not alone in this, and they can ask questions, share things, help one another. So it's a beautiful thing to see. In response to our surveys that we've taken, bullying is not only a buzzword across America, it's a very real concern to parents and students. And in order to address that, now we do address it, but in order to kind of put it out there and make everyone aware and make it more of a forefront issue for our students, help them to think twice and have empathy for one another, we are in the process of developing a comprehensive strategy on bullying as far as inviting in speakers. That's some of the plans that we have, having student involvement in what they feel that would be impactful for their peers as far as bullying and behaviors and offsetting those behaviors. We are continuing our check-in, check-out program this year. It's a function of our SAT team referral process. A couple of years ago, we kind of started funneling all of our interventions through SAT. And that kind of, in that way, we kind of had oversight, and we could check to see if things were actually impactful or not, or if we needed to switch gears and do something else. So we've put that online, and now the resources for that are accessible to the teachers, pardon me. And also, we've started with that. Now we have an archive that's instantly available to those members of the SAT team, where they can go back and say, we talked about this kid last year. What information do we already have on hand? What have we already tried for that student, without having to go try to pull a file out of a drawer? It's more real time for our teachers as far as interventions. And we all know that the sooner we can get to those kids, get them into something, some kind of help in some way, shape, or form, whether it's mentoring, whether it's, you know, a one-on-one tutoring session with the teacher, whether it is just a little bit of time with Mr. Bartle before school, you know, playing cards or something, you know, whatever it is that they need. So we found that to be very impactful, and we're really excited about that because it just seems to be getting better every year. And here are some results for our checkbook program. Our checkbook program last year began with 28 students. Now, please understand that that is something that students are required to take responsibility for. They have to check in with you. You know, in some instances, which I do this, depending on the student and the level of their need, you can seek them out. But we try to encourage the students to seek out the mentor. They earn their dollar in their checkbook in that way. And so they're accountable for that. At the end of the year, we ended up with 8 students, and that's the data you see here. And that number was impacted by some of the students that it wasn't successful, so we removed them from the program and found another intervention beyond check-in, check-out. Some of the students moved. We had 6 that moved. Some, unfortunately, went to alternative, which I guess is another intervention level. And some were set up with a mentor, but they never really connected, or they never really had any desire to set out, which, you know, we set up a monetary system with the kids where we buy them. We basically bribe them, but bribery works at this age, so we're not going to waste that as a resource, to check in. And we've bought students basketballs, tennis shoes, digital cameras if they save up their money long enough, digital cameras, iPods, things of that nature. And it does reach kids. And if it only reaches one student, it's impactful. I feel it's valuable.
You know, I've done this, I think, 8 years now, and every year I feel like, how much more can I squeeze in to this? Because I can tell you that we've got the technology, and I can tell you that we've got the professional development, but I'm just going to go off what I was going to say. We have good teachers. We have to, because it's a very difficult time right now to have to go with every state and federal standard and meet that and go on day to day, every day, trying to be better. Not only with academics, but now we're having more behavioral issues and we're having to address that. And we work very, very hard. I did have a parent who I was really surprised last night pull me to the side and said, my kids have been in 5 different schools and this is the best school I have been to. People care about the kids in this building. And I said, you're right. It takes a village. And it's extremely important that, yes, we have all of this going on, but we really need to recognize what we have. And that is, we have our own professional development because these teachers take it out of their time to come and provide in services, and we can grow our own. And that's important to me. I am very passionate. These ladies behind me are passionate, and I guarantee you the staff at RPS are top-notch. So, in saying that, we're looking forward to the transition. I will miss the 7th grade, but we will consider these 4th grade teachers family. They are already part of us, and we're looking forward to that. So, any questions?
Very good.